plans are, but they ought to be outside getting some fresh air and some sunlight. Turn all that crap off and get outside this weekend. It's going to be nice. When it when it gets to be 95 degrees with 200% humidity, we're going to miss these 75-degree days. Ox Foundation Solutions bringing you the show. Speaking of weather, weather is a big factor in why foundations go wonky. Some of it is the rain itself and the water table coming and going, but it's expansion and contraction. Any material that's exposed to weather is going to get hot, it's going to get cold, and over time that could cause your foundation to crack or shift or recede, and then you got trouble. For most of you, you're fine. You may be in an older home that's never moved an inch. You could be in a home that's 3 years old, but it's suddenly starting to shift. You got to keep on top of that stuff and look for the signs. And sometimes the signs can be very subtle. It can be a little crack in the sheetrock that wasn't there, or something in the bricks that wasn't there, or a sticky door. I had a guy one time that when he'd go and check out investment properties, it was the simplest thing in the world. He'd take a tennis ball, or sometimes he'd use a pool table ball, and he'd just put it on the floor and roll it and see if it went into a certain direction or another. That shows the floor maybe a little bit sloped. I mean, rather than do tricks like that, just have Ox come take a look and inspect the health of your foundation if you suspect trouble. The bigger problems come after those shifts start and you wind up with water intrusion. That could come from after you get a crack or some opening. Water just is trying to break in your house. And once it's in there, it can set up shop and cause mold damage and all of those things associated with that. When you get moisture in there, allergens and spores in the air of your home, man, you gotta get rid of that stuff. And that's what Ox does. They do all the services: house leveling, crack repair, water removal, of course, mold removal. And finally, once you've got everything tight and right, you do encapsulation to keep that stuff from coming back. They do all of it. It's oxstrong.com. Been taking care of folks in our audience for a long, long time. oxstrong.com. Okay. Man, it's been a weird day. I was just reading some more sort of blowback over this Anthropic thing that came up today with Trump, where the federal government is kicking this AI company out of the federal government systems. Apparently, the Trump team says this company was trying to strong arm the Department of War and tell them what they could or couldn't do with their technology. Others say, no, they're just trying to keep safeguards and ethics over how their technology is used. It's a fascinating debate of our time at a critical time when we're building up a whole war machine against the Iranians right now, and all that's still kind of hanging out there as we head into the weekend. Bubba Clinton was before the congressional panel today, and y'all, I just don't. I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't think James Comer is legit. He's turned to me in more of a blowhard, like a lot of people in Congress. Now, I know he may be a nice guy, and he does a pretty good interview, but he never really delivers. Even today, he came out of that hearing room and tried to co-opt something Clinton said about Trump being exonerated. And while I applaud the effort, because I think Trump's being unfairly, they're trying to drag him into something with Epstein that he doesn't belong in. Comer just is not the most credible person to be handling this. And I don't think the way they've questioned the Clintons right here were ever going to be effective. The Clintons are just too skilled at this stuff. So I don't know if anything was produced. I have seen a couple of sound bites this afternoon where I think the thing is now ended. So the Republicans came out and spoke in the microphone up in Chappaqua, and so did the Democrats. If there's anything significant, we'll pass it along. Otherwise, we can move on to anything else you want to talk about. Because
I think the video is supposed to be dropping this weekend. Both.
Oh,
Hillary
is it this weekend of Hillary screeching at him yesterday?
Hillary and Bill, I believe. Because if it's deposition, it's just a straight video. There can't be no edits in between. So
right, they dumped the whole video, but then the internet will edit it, and you'll have Hillary screaming at you all weekend. That's all you're going to see, are clips of her snapping like a folding like a beast here and yelling at everybody for dare asking her anything tough. I mean, she did it yesterday in the post news conference. They got into the wedding invite and Ghislaine Maxwell being there, and she spun on her heels and pantsuited right on out of there. She was done with that questioning. Really what they asked her was, the Clintons maintained a relationship with the Epsteins after he'd been caught. They just did. And it's in some of the documents that led up to the whole wedding thing being discovered. But anyway, I don't even want to get into it. Let's go to the phones. AJ, just jump in there if you see anything pop out on that. If they jump out live or something like that. Greg, we'll start with him on line 2. What's up, Greg?
Good afternoon. I think I kind of turned AJ's stomach. I hope he's not too upset with me.
What you got?
The story came out this week, and I saw it on CBS 42 and Morning News a couple of days ago. Lady had a viral hack when you travel and you run out of drawers. Just take your drawers and run them through the in-room coffee maker. Be good as new. Dry them with a hair dryer.
I think I heard about this. So this woman boiled her panties in a coffee maker and dried them with a hair dryer and said that was a coffee. That was a AJ.
Yeah.
No.
Man, see now that's another reason why I'm not drinking. Man, I'm not touching no glasses. I ain't drinking no coffee. I ain't. No. I'm bringing my own sheets.
In the room, they're making coffee and it's like earthy. Yeah.
Tastes like Susan.
Yikes.
Oh God.
To me, this should be criminal. This woman should be prosecuted for this. I mean, it's like spit.
Yeah, I think I read somewhere. Did we lose Greg? Greg, I think I read somewhere that hotel, and I forget which chain it was, they had to replace every coffee pot in that particular hotel because they didn't know which one it was.
I am never, ever drinking in-room coffee, period. End of discussion. Never.
That's nasty.
Never. It is.
All right, Greg.
Unless it's my own drawers.
We're officially grossed out. We're officially grossed out. You have a good weekend. Yeah, I had not even brought this story up. I saw it briefly. Everything's so kooky online right now. AJ, I heard your reaction. I mean, I don't generally make in-room coffee anyway. I'll just go out. Usually I don't go to hotels to spend a whole lot of time in the room anyway. I'm up, I'm out. And I'll go get a coffee I trust somewhere else because you can't trust that stuff. You cannot trust that pot is clean. You don't know.
Well, but here's the thing. You got a sink.
Yep.
You can wash your nasty drawers in.
In the sink.
Why are you doing it in the coffee pot? Like, really? Like,
who even comes up with that?
Someone who's don't even get me started.
It made AJ angry.
This is a life hack. No, that's called disgusting. That's not called a life hack. That's not a life hack.
It's terrible.
You know, I mean, I could get it if you, because I could get it if you just wash your drawers in the sink. That's fine. Okay,
right. Cool.
You know, and then hanging it. Okay, fine. They can clean that. But the coffee pot, you already know that's one of the things they don't really clean on a regular basis because not many people really use the coffee pot.
They don't.
You know,
they don't.
But now to know that someone says, "Oh," and then put it on social media, well, yeah, this is a great way to help expand your underwear since you may have to stay here a little bit longer. Then instead of going to the dang store,
get you some fresh drawers
and get you some fresh underwear. Nasty.
AJ, I had this story, so pretend like you don't, and you can react to this too, because I had an experience this story reminds me of that. I was over in Atlanta, and I was working for the TV station. I was younger. I want to say I was covering the SEC championship. I can't remember. But I was in Atlanta, and in a hotel room, good to go, and I'm watching the local news. I think it was Channel 5 over there. Was doing one of these investigative series where they put undercover cameras and, you'll have them do it in restaurants.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember the story?
Mm-hmm.
I'm literally in the bed, feet kicked up, watching the nightly news, and they're doing an undercover camera operation where they set it up in a hotel room to see what the maids did. And it wasn't somebody else's room. They weren't spying on guests. They rented the room and put a camera to see what the maids did when they came in to clean up, when the housekeepers came in.
Mm-hmm.
And they watched room after room. They did this over and over in the same place. I mean, I even forget the hotel where they put the hidden camera in the bathroom and the housekeepers wiped down the toilet with a rag, used the same rag to wipe off those little glasses in the bathroom.
Oh, gosh,
and then they put that little paper cap on them like they were clean. They were cleaning it with the same old dirty rag they used to do the bathtub and the toilet. I thought I was going to puke. So here's the fun part of that story. I'm sitting there watching them do this story, and it suddenly dawned on me, that's the hotel I'm in right now. It was downtown, round Centennial Park somewhere, and that I was in that hotel. I thought I was gonna puke.
Oh.
And to this day,
Why you
I
had
will not,
have that same glass in your hand?
dude. I will not. Yeah, I was sitting there. I'd made myself a drink. No, I will not use one of those hotel glasses. I don't care how much paper you put on it. Or put that little paper over the seat. They're not really cleaning anything.
No.
I mean, you go in, and you know the story about it. I went to D.C. one time, and I had there's a favorite hotel I had that was right next to the Capitol on C Street. I could easily walk to the office there on Capitol Hill. I used this place every time I was up there because I would go up there and stay for days. And I liked the staff. I knew everybody, and it was easy to stay at the same place. And I go in there, and it was a one-bed setup. It was a very small rooms. And I put my bag down. I'm in a hurry. I'm supposed to be at something as soon as I got there. And I looked down, and I saw this imprint, and I later determined that it was some kind of oil. AJ knows this story too. I had an oily ass print on the bedspread. Somebody had oiled that thing up and just sat down. They had baby oiled up. They had cocoa buttered up. And just sat down, and the maid didn't see it or check it.
Oh.
The housekeeper just made the bed with this big butt. I mean, it was the perfect shape of a butt.
You rented P. Diddy's room.
Dude, apparently. And I called him. I was like, dude, there's an oily ass print on my bed. And they were like, oh, we'll bring you another bedspread. I was like, I want another room. I don't. It's ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, typically when I go to rooms, man, I wipe everything down.
I know.
I have the Lysol, the sanitation wipes, all that stuff. Because there was one. This was like around Dothan. There was a hotel, one of them little cheap ones, and I pulled back the covers, and lo and behold, there was a weave. Like someone.
You told me that.
Like someone,
somebody left a hair weave for you.
Yeah, somebody left it like right on. I'm like, how do you miss this? You know what I'm saying? And then there was one on Music Row in Nashville. Pull back the covers, and lo and behold, there was a nice little bug just chilling there. Like, hey man.
Oh yeah, just some cockroaches. Yeah, that's yeah. Jim Gaffigan used to have a routine. He said, you can't give away a mattress if you got a used mattress. You can put it out on the road. You can make it free. Nobody wants your used mattress, but we'll go into a hotel because it's 5 stars, and we'll just flop right down and go, Richard Dixon knows what I'm talking about. He stayed in some seedy places. You know what, Richard? This is why I love RV travel too. That's my bed. Those are my sheets. Those are my towels.
Oh yeah.
I don't fool with a nasty hotel. Yep.
Absolutely. I recently ran across somebody in the security business who said hotels are notorious for all kinds of horrible things happening. And I'm like, I'm just lucky nothing has ever happened to me. But she's like, nope, we don't do that. She goes, I'm an Airbnb person, or I am a travel trailer all the way. It's like, yeah, well, that makes sense. You're bringing your own place with you. You know, your glasses are washed by you. You know, your bedding was washed by you, so you know you're in good shape. Plus, you know, you can get to anywhere you want to, and it is inexpensive. Once you buy one of these travel trailers, and they're very, very inexpensive today here. I can't believe some of these prices. Some of these are $12,000, $13,000, and they're super nice. Once you've paid that initially, well, then staying the night in a campground is next to nothing. You know, I mean, you know, you've been there. It really is a great way to travel. It's a great way to bring your family along. My mom always had a philosophy. She was like, why should we stay at this big house in Minneapolis and fight when we can go get into a much smaller trailer and fight there? And I enjoyed that a great deal. Nonetheless, you got to come out and take a look at some of these things, man. We're going to be here all weekend. Well, not me personally, but, you know, the RVs are going to be here all weekend. Pull behind travel trailers, fifth wheels, and RVs, the king daddy of them all, the double-decker RV, the 3-bedroom, 2-bath RV. They're all here, and you got to see them with your own eyes and then be astounded at the prices. Not just me, you know, my buddy Orlando Beavers is down here as well. And he said, dude, I can't believe some of these prices. They seem like unreasonably low. I said, I know. The price to sell, obviously. So come on down, take advantage of it. And you're not just, by the way, you're not just willing to flop down on that 5-star hotel bed. You're willing to pay $350 a night for the privilege.
Exactly. You know, the other thing, Richard, about the RV thing is, you know, highway P stops. And when you got to drop a deuce and you got to go do a gas station. Yeah, you got your own toilet. You just stop and you got your own thing. I mean, it's very
It really
sanitary.
is.
Very sanitary.
It is fantastic. There's nothing quite like it. If you haven't done it, then get on board. If you have done it, then get on down here and pick yourself up a travel trailer, RV, or fifth wheel from the Birmingham RV Show, because the prices ain't going to get better than this. They're only going up from here, friends.
Good stuff. We'll check in with you one more time before we get wrapped up tonight. Richard,
Thank you,
down at
man.
the BJCC at the big RV show all weekend long. Y'all go and see them. Do I have time, AJ? I can get Spider Monkey in here real quick, and then we will hit this break. Spider Monkey, what's up, buddy? There he is in the car on the road.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I've been away for a while.
Yeah, you have.
I missed everybody. I missed y'all, too.
Well,
I've
good to
been
hear from
living out in California for about 3 years.
Oh, wow.
Went out there to help my wife, AJ, my wife, help her take care of her mother. And I got a job while I was out there. I didn't know what we were going to do. We just had to do something to take care of her mom. Her husband died, and then she had a heart attack, and so my wife went out there for a month, and we ended up moving, just leaving everything and moving out there. And I didn't even know what I was going to do, but got me a job at a casino as a security officer. And, man, I met a bunch of cool people. I met J.J. Walker, remember, Dynamite?
Love him. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I got my picture taken with a bunch of different people because I was moving high-value assets around the casino, and whether that was chips, money, or people. And so that's what I did for until July, and we just couldn't take it anymore and decided we'd move back out here.
Well, good for you.
And,
Good on you for doing all that, too. Yeah.
Got back here and got in the big truck again, and Neil Young did a song about Alabama too. I think it was called Alabama. Where he just kind of whined and moaned about Alabama.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. But like y'all said, they kind of did it like tongue in cheek because of, and they were in music together, and probably Lewis Skinner had opened up for him a time or two, something like that. I know he wore his T-shirt, a Neil Young T-shirt. It's on his the last album they had. Got that
True that.
T-shirt on.
Yep.
Well, that's it, man. And I'll think of something and come on every once in a while and just say something.
Well, good to have you
And
back,
I'm back.
Spider Monkey. We appreciate you, man. Good to have you back on the in the rotation. Call us sometime. That's good stuff. All right, we got to hit it. We'll do the break. We'll come right back. Y'all stay tuned. It's 528 Leland Live, talking 995. Allen and Company next up here on the show. Man, what a beautiful shop. Great people. You got the Thompson family, again, 2 generations, a good local business, and they're ready to help you get exactly what you want when it comes to gift giving and this kind of fine jewelry, custom stuff all throughout the store, gift giving ideas of all price ranges. And Allen is a master jeweler, and that means a lot of things. One, they can custom design anything you want. You don't need to go to one of the chain stores or go to Atlanta. Just do it right here at home and get it exactly like you want. As we sort of enter what Alan told me was there's kind of an engagement season that starts right after right about the time of Valentine's Day, and it goes through early summer. So if you know somebody that's got this on their mind and they're about to pop the question, or it's time for an upgrade of that. This is also the season for people to do special gifts like upgrade that original diamond when you first got married. They're ready to help you at Allen and Company. They'll handle it. Also, having a master jeweler right there on site when you take things in for repairs or cleanings or fittings or whatever it is you need to do. Every now and then you're going to break a chain or lose a stone. They don't have to ship your stuff off. Everything stays in their vault. Allen and his team try to do quick turnaround and get it back to you within a week. That's pretty good service from good local folks. Go see the Thompsons and let them help you get these things done. I think once you do business with them, that'll be your jewelry store. They've been with us for years, and we really appreciate them. It's Allen and Company in Vestavia right there on the big hill near the car wash. That's a good little landmark for you. Allen and Company. We'll do the bottom of the hour, and then we'll come back, take some more of your phone calls and see what other trouble we can cause, and then call it a weekend. Leland Live. Back here in just a minute. Y'all stay tuned. Okay. We're just about getting ready to wrap everything up. Stockton Mortgage is ready to talk to you if you're thinking about making a move on your mortgage. This week, we got the headline again. It's been sustained. 30-year mortgages dropped below 6%. That's starting to make a little more sense. Historically, that is about where mortgage rates used to always be. That was considered a good rate just a few years ago. Of course, we went through some tough times and the rates went all the way down to 3 or 4, and some of y'all took advantage of that. And you don't want to come off of it. You don't want to give that rate up. But seriously, consider all of your interest that you're paying on all of your debt that you're paying. And if you've got that 29%, those high credit card payments in there, and you want a more manageable way to get that money paid off and really to get that off your credit score and all that, consider making moves with your mortgage. You built up some equity in your home, and with the rates being a little bit lower, now it's closer to that low rate that you got. So the hit's not so bad, right? And actually averaging it out may be a better rate for you altogether anyway. They're ready to help you pursue that and start exploring it at Stockton Mortgage. They've got a website that they set up just for this radio show, savewithstockton.com, and they will start the conversation. You may not be ready to have your credit pulled and fill out a bunch of forms and go through the real process yet, but it starts with sort of just spitballing where you are, where you want to be. They'll give you some ideas, and you can pursue it as you go along and decide what's best for you with their strategic advice. It's savewithstockton.com, savewithstockton.com. Man, we have been chasing the weirdest stories this afternoon. I was looking back over everything, make sure we hadn't missed anything. Trump is out in Corpus Christi, Texas. He is going to be out campaigning for the midterms. Now, he is not endorsed in that Senate race out there, and that is a brawl. I mean, and right now Ken Paxton's in the lead according to the latest polling. So Trump hadn't weighed in on it because the NRSC that kind of handles incumbents for the Republican Party, they're still with Cornyn. You got this other guy running, which he's way down in the polls. But then you got the Jasmine Crockett race, which is interesting. But Trump it's more about the House seats and the way Texas just redrew their districts. And Trump has promised to be on the campaign trail this year and deliver for the party where the party can't find a way to help itself, i.e. the SAVE Act and all those things. And I'll preach about that a little bit in just a minute, too. We'll do a little politics on the way out the door. So anyway, the point of bringing up the rally, I was going to play you a sound clip, but it's just more of the same. Trump focused heavily on the jobs issue and the energy issue. Of course, out in Texas, a big energy state. Them bringing back oil drilling and self-reliance is starting to help in some areas. I just saw a picture. I can't verify it, but there was a gas station somewhere in Mississippi, South Mississippi, where they were under $2 for gas, not diesel. Diesel was down, I think, just under $3, which would be great for me. I buy a lot of diesel as well. But, everything's kind of inching in that direction. Now, let everything go pop with Iran this weekend, and you're going to see a lot of market instability, and those prices could shoot right back up. But anyway, the Trump's out there in Corpus Christi, and out of nowhere, Dennis Quaid shows up in the audience. He's out there signing MAGA hats. So here's a well-known Hollywood actor. Now, he has not shied from his politics. He played Reagan in that movie that just came out, the Reagan movie. If you haven't seen it, I think it's a very good movie. I've still not seen the final version of it. We were blessed to be invited to go see an early rough cut of the movie as they were getting feedback from certain folks when that movie came out. And it was neat to see it in that format. But I thought they did a pretty good job with it. That it felt a little rushed at parts because they were trying to get his whole life into just one movie. But it's worth the watch. But I thought he did a remarkable job sort of becoming Reagan. It was, for those of us who grew up in that era, you don't just pretend to be Reagan and slick your hair back and start wagging your head and using his phrases. But over the course of that movie, he slowly sort of became Reagan. I thought he did an incredible job. But anyway, he's out there hanging out at the Trump rally, signing hats this afternoon. I thought that was interesting. Now let's talk about the Senate again for a minute. I usually don't ask this audience to do any kind of activism, and I'm really not now. I'm just giving you a little coaching. We're at a precipice right now and you can't really overstate how important this particular issue is, especially with this election year. Everything Trump's been able to accomplish the last year at dismantling all the systems the American left has sort of built into place. They were so good at setting up all these basic little mini institutions. They had a money funneling operation through USAID, Act Blue, all of these other, plus the tax money that some of their constituents have been ripping off that we're now finding. So it was a fundraising arm. It was a propaganda arm through NPR and PBS, and them giving grants to mainstream reporters and funding sheer propaganda. The censorship system that they had built through corporate America and social media to silence voices that were opposed to them. All of these things, the invasion, the cultural engineering they were trying to do by invading our country with foreigners that can't or don't want to assimilate, that's been drawn to a close. I saw a story today where another immigrant boat was caught off the coast of California with 82 people on it trying to sneak into the country. They can't get through the border anymore, so they're trying to do it by boat. They were stopped. They're going to be turned around and sent home. We've had 0 crossings since the border was closed. And for 2 decades, both parties told us, well, you just can't fix the border. You can't really just shut it down like that. We need comprehensive immigration reform, which means both sides were lying to us. They wanted to do some horse trading and call it comprehensive immigration reform. And all it took was somebody with the courage to enforce the laws that were on the books. So they stopped that and then redid the trade deals. We're moving back in a good direction on energy. But here's the point. All that's dead almost at the end of this year if the SAVE Act is not passed, and I really believe that. Here's why. Trump loses control of one of these chambers, and now we're in a standoff. And his agenda gets even further restricted. They will use, let's just say they took control of the House of Representatives, which is the most likely scenario for the Democrats. It'll be nonstop harassment with committees and fake investigations just to slow down the Trump agenda. People will eventually start moving on to the next presidential election, and Trump is the lamest of lame ducks in his whole last 2 years. So he becomes, his effectiveness, as hard as I still believe he would continue to push, will be cut in half. And then there are the prospects of the fact that they can flat cheat in these elections and stuff those ballots and do what they've been doing, despite all the district redraws and all that. The tactical advantage of the voter fraud systems that the left, and that's one of the other institutions I didn't bring up in that description, they had institutionalized cheating in the elections through early voting, mail-in ballots, no identity in their particular states. They can control Congress if they can cheat in their own states. They don't have to do it in Alabama. That's why they're not set up shop to pull these things off in the state. Although we had 3 Democrats get busted this week here in Alabama for the same kind of voter fraud. It still goes on here. It's just not to a scale where it can be effective because the disparity between Democrats and Republicans, at least among voters, is roughly 30%. So they can't cheat enough to win here with that model, but they can in California and they can in some of the other big states. So we need the laws to be strengthened, but we also need the MAGA base to be fired up. They are notoriously, there's a group of the Republican primary voters that could be as much as 25-30% that will absolutely sit home if they're demoralized or they don't like the Republican. And I'll tell you, the most recent case of that was that Roy Moore election where he lost. People thought that was about that scandal they pulled on him, and that was part of it. But for the most part, they're the biggest group of people in that election. It wasn't Doug Jones voters or Roy Moore voters. There was another group of people were the Trump voters that didn't go out and vote, that sat home. It was a larger group when you do the math on it. If the SAVE Act doesn't pass, I would submit to you, even in a state like Alabama, a lot of folks are going to throw their hands up and not trust the Republican Party. What I think is being asked for right now is very reasonable. It's not even to get rid of the filibuster. It's to do a real filibuster. Return it to its origins and make them stand there and make their case. It's healthy. Filibuster had a purpose in the Senate history and in any governmental body. It had a purpose. And the thing was, you had to be able to physically show the tenacity to make your case. And it was about expanding the debate, forcing one side to listen. The other side had to hang in there. And it worked that way. And then issues eventually got voted on. But then we turned into this farce, this fraud where any objection turns into a 60-vote threshold, and now we're dysfunctional. Now, nothing passes the Senate without a supermajority. And you don't get a supermajority unless a lot of deals get cut and we get screwed over. The Senate likes it that way. Thune likes it that way. McConnell likes it that way. The establishment loves a stalemate in the Senate. That means nothing gets done and they stay in charge. They don't like change or they don't like reform. They're not reform-minded people. If you own the place, why would you want to let anybody else in? Ask yourself that. It is a pay-to-play system. And so right now, Thune is holding out, and Tom Tillis and some of the others in the Senate on just doing nothing but simply pulling this thing to the floor, the SAVE Act, and requiring a legitimate filibuster. We're not even at this point saying nuke the filibuster. We're just saying make them filibuster, not this stupid technical filibuster that we've gotten lazy and allowed the lazy non-fighters in the Senate to get away with. So we'll be talking more about that next week. The point is they got to pass this thing or all the stuff Trump's doing out there on the trail is for naught. It just is. The demoralization of the MAGA base is going to be real because we see the clock ticking on the Trump presidency. He's done in less than 3 years. And if this stuff doesn't get codified and put into law, it's over. It'll get reverse engineered overnight with the next administration. It's true that those are some facts I'm spitting. Richard Dixon here to help us focus on something more fun, like talking about RVs down at the RV show at the BJCC.
RVs, travel trailers, fifth wheels, they've got it all, man, large and small, whatever your style of camping is, there is something here for you. There's even a Mercedes RV. Yeah, it's pretty impressive, too. I don't mind telling you. Right behind it is a Ram. I kind of like that one a little bit better, but that's just me. I'm a Dodge guy. What can I say? And then, you've got your Jayco and you've got your, one after another. There's a Montana over here. There's Lifeway. There's just, you name it, they've got it. Huge, with small prices. Amazing people who know everything there is to know about these RVs and travel trailers. So if you have a question, they can more than happily help you. If you walk into one of the really big ones, one of the really expensive ones, there's already somebody sitting inside ready to go. Like, hey, what can I tell you about this thing? Let me check. Like a little real estate agent ready to show you everything about the place. Yep. It's pretty impressive. If you are new to it, they got something small to get you started. If this is your third or fourth different one, then you may want to step up a little bit. But I cannot find any fault with these prices. I really can't. It's amazing to me how reasonably priced everything is. And you only got this for another couple of days. So if you miss out on it, don't come crying to me. Because that's what people do usually. They miss out and then they come crying to me. And I'm not doing it this time. I'm just
happens all the time. Yeah.
Come on down to the BJCC or the Birmingham RV show. Find out more at rvsupershow.com. And, interesting. You were talking about the SAVE Act and the filibuster and all that good stuff. Yeah. And I would agree with you that forcing a filibuster is the answer because I would love to see Democrats stand up and make the case for not having ID to vote for 60 days. Wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't you love to watch these guys try to make that case for 60 days? And
it's a reasonable argument, Richard. I know you understand. I've heard you talk about it, and we're of the same mind. Just making them do the rigors of what a real filibuster is not too much to ask. We're not even asking them to change their rules. Just use the original rules and do it like a man.
Well, it's akin to Trump saying during the State of the Union, hey, listen, if you favor illegal immigrants over Americans, go ahead and stay seated. Exactly. And the rest of you guys stay. I mean, you pretty much, boy, they were furious. They were like, how dare you make us admit to what we believe in? That's not fair. It was fantastic.
Or you have Spartacus. Have weekend, guys. Thanks, bro. Have a good weekend, Richard. Love it. Y'all get down to the RV show really is. It's one-stop shopping where you can see more in one place, and they really do discount these things just to make an impression and make some sales. It kicks off the season, so y'all go down and see him. I think he's probably going to pack up and get out of there. The Birmingham, down at the BJCC, fun times. Okay, do we have time for – yeah, I'll tell you what. Let me do one more thing, and then we'll get on out of here. We'll take a break. 545, by the way, if you want to squeeze another call in, we'll try to get you in here, 545-9950. One more time for Alabama Gold Refinery, too. Let me – talk about Steve and the gang. Let me grab I've got an app that tracks the commodities markets. And I'm telling you, I love checking in on it every day because I'm fascinated with what gold has been doing. Good times or bad, gold always has real tangible value. And nowadays, with instability and even the rare earth argument that's going on right now, all that's driving up the prices of gold and particularly silver. Silver got listed on one of those precious minerals lists, and so that helped the value of that. Some of our audience were smart enough to buy this stuff a couple of years ago when AGR first came on. Yeah, gold today at 52.47. It is steadily holding its own above 5,000. And so if you've got scrap, you've got things you'd like to unload, just stuff you don't wear anymore and you want real value for it, go to AGR. It's a safe location. They've got all the security stuff you need to be able to come and go safely. And they're in Homewood, in a nice little safe community across from the Big Regions Bank. You just pull right in there and go in with your cash to buy some gold or silver or platinum, or go in with your stuff. He'll even trade with you. Some people want to keep a position in gold, but you got several ounces of old things. He'll trade you weight for weight and throw a little incentive in there. Talk to Steve about that. He has been busy as a one-legged man in a butt-kicking contest lately with the price going crazy and people starting to want to sell. But he can get you in there and take good care of you. And then you got a resource. You got a place to do these kind of exchanges and trades from time to time. I just like going in the shop. There's so much fascinating stuff that people have brought in over the years. AGR, AlabamaGoldRefinery.com in Homewood, again, across from the Big Regions Bank, AlabamaGoldRefinery.com. Back here in just a minute. All right, Joe, 5:57. We got to get on up out of here. All American Metals. I wouldn't be able to do have this home studio without my steel building. I love the value that I got by building steel. Here was my only problem. I didn't know about All American, so I did it the hard way. Y'all don't do it the hard way. This is a turnkey place that can help you get that steel structure built, whether it's for commercial use or residential use, pole barn, shed, one of those things, barn dominiums, commercial warehousing, retail build out, mini stores. They build all these things. They're going to produce that building. They're going to start with a stamped set of plans that'll help you get your approvals and your financing or whatever it is you need with those plans. Then from there, they're going to produce the building for you. Every single component, they control that process. Pack it up like a big box of Legos, put it on their 18-wheelers and bring it to your site. If you need help erecting that building, they got you covered with that too. This is a great group of families. It's two families that go back to the 1960s, climbing steel, putting up steel, making steel. They know their stuff, based out of the Bessemer Hueytown area. These are great patriots. That's why they named their company All American. It's aa-metal.com, aa-metal.com. We got to go. AJ, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I look forward to seeing you back here on Monday.
All right, man. You enjoy your weekend as well, too. Stay tuned for Breaking Bread coming up next. Goodbye, AJ.